Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, miércoles el 5 de marzo. Daily objectives for today is to describe parts of your daily routine. Your warm-up for today is the inténtalo on page 131 of the textbook. And let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. And before doing so, let's review the present tense conjugations of the verbs tener and not vivir, but rather venir. Both of these verbs, as we talked about last class, are irregular. And they're irregular, as you can see on page 130, for two reasons. The first reason is because you can see that there is a spelling change in the yo form conjugation, how the O changes to GO when conjugated in the present tense. And then also there is a stem change that takes place in the to form, and the ella form, and in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. That stem change, as you can see, the E has a spelling change. It changes to IE in those three forms, and that's what's talked about there in those last few bullet points on page 130. Page 131 has common expressions used with tener, physical descriptions of physical, mental, and emotional states. And then finally, some other expressions used with tener are the expression tener que, to indicate what we have to do, tener que, followed by a verb in the infinitive, as you can see in those two examples. No need to conjugate that second verb. And then finally, tener ganas de, followed by a verb in the infinitive to indicate what it is you feel like doing. ¿Tienes ganas de comer? No. Tengo ganas de dormir. So, tener ganas de also followed by an infinitive to indicate what you're in the mood for. Your warm-up question is the inténtalo, where you guys are filling in the missing conjugations of the verb tener or venir. I'll give you guys a moment to self-navigate, filling in the blanks, conjugating the verb in tener, utilizing those conjugations on page 130 according to the subjects that are provided at the beginning of each sentence. All right, correct answers for tener would be yo tengo, el artista tiene, nosotros tenemos, Eva y Diana tienen, usted tiene, tú tienes, ustedes tienen, ella tiene. For the verb venir, mis padres vienen, tú tienes, nosotras tenemos, the verb venir, my apologies, tú vienes, nosotras venimos, Pepe viene, yo vengo, ustedes vienen, Alfonso y yo venimos, ellos vienen, and usted viene. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the agenda again for today. We are going to go over the homework that's due for tonight. Go over the conjugations of tener and venir. We essentially did that. We'll go over your guided practice, activities 1 and 5, and then review your family tree assignment that is due next class. Un día típico. For this assignment, you guys are writing 6 sentences to describe a typical day in the life of you. The 4 elements are the time of day, a verb, and then a verb conjugated according to the subject that's provided. If you want more detailed instructions, you can watch this video that I created for you for guidance for that. And a reminder, for extra credit, you can submit it as a video submission for 10% extra credit. All right, let's take a look now at activity 1, matching using the expressions of tener, which again you can find in your notes and on page 131. Utilizing this vocabulary, which of those expressions would you associate with the following situations. El Polo Norte, the North Pole. Una sauna, a sauna. La comida salada. Una persona muy inteligente, someone who's very smart. Un abuelo is your grandfather, and una dieta is a diet. Number one, el Polo Norte would be tener frío, to be cold. Una sauna would be tener calor, to be hot. La comida salada, to have salty food thereafter, would be letter B, tener sed, to be thirsty. Number four, una persona muy inteligente, someone who's very smart, would be D, tener razón, to be right. Un abuelo, a grandfather, the correct answer would be tener 75 años, perhaps to be in their 70s. And then una dieta, if you're on a diet, you're probably hungry, which would be letter F, tener hambre. Activity 5 are a series of short answer questions. Most of these questions are in the to form, so you're going to respond in the yo form using whatever responses that are most relevant to you. I'll walk you through these questions together. Tienes que estudiar. ¿Qué tienes que estudiar hoy? What do you have to study? You're going to use the construction tener que with the verb estudiar and then indicate, as this example does, what it is you have to study. For example, tengo que estudiar biología. I have to study for biology. Tengo que estudiar matemáticas. Tengo que estudiar español. Tengo que estudiar inglés. Tengo que estudiar historia. Put a subject for which you have to study here over the next few days. Number two, ¿cuántos años tienes? Is the expression, how old are you? So you're using the verb tener and then indicate how old you are by putting the number before años. So for example, yo tengo 15 años, or yo tengo 14 años. Yeah, just like how we did in first semester. Number three, ¿cuándo vienes a la escuela? When do you arrive to school? You're going to use the verb venir in the yo form to say, I come to school, and then just as we did in semester 1, you can refer to the time there on page 50 to indicate at what time, rather 51, at what time you typically arrive to school. So number 3 would begin with yo vengo, right? Change vienes to vengo. Yo vengo a la escuela. Yo vengo a la escuela a las 8 de la mañana, for example. Number 5, ¿cuándo vienen tus amigos a tu casa o apartamento? When do your friends usually come over? Mis amigos vienen a mi casa. Mis amigos vienen a mi casa. And then indicate the time. Mis amigos vienen a mi casa a las 5 de la tarde. Question number 6 is asking, ¿de qué tienes miedo? What are you afraid of? Using the expression tener miedo de, to be afraid of. You're going to use the yo form of tener to answer this question. Yo tengo miedo de, and then indicate what you're afraid of, whatever that may be. Finally, number 6, ¿qué tienes ganas de hacer? What do you feel like doing? What are you in the mood for? That's also on page 131 there at the very bottom. To indicate what you feel like doing, use the phrase tener ganas de, and then a verb in the infinitive. So, yo tengo ganas de dormir, yo tengo ganas de leer, yo tengo ganas de dibujar, yo tengo ganas de practicar deportes. You're going to replace hacer with the verb, whatever it is you feel like doing, Saturday.